Welcome back, everybody, to the back nine of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship semifinals here at Hornets Nest in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm joined by five-time world champ Paige Pierce. How we doing, Paige?
Doing great. I'm excited to get to this back nine action. This course gets quite a bit harder on the back, and the stakes are high. We know that tomorrow is ESPN2 coverage. We know that there's $20,000 on the line, and our first equitable payout for these FPO players. So
$20,000.
pretty incredible.
I mean, that's game-changing, and that's just for first place. Second, third, and fourth also receiving nice pay. Fourth place getting $3,000 just for showing up.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
We know that it's very imperative that we move on today. Shooting one of the 4 hot scores will move you on. Hailey King is in a good position right now, 2 under through 9 holes. Lisa from the chase cards at even, and a few of us here on this feature card are over par. So we got some work to do on some tough holes, and we'll get right into it.
Yeah, hole 10. Quick shout out to Grip 6 Belts, though, for sponsoring the event and also this coverage. I couldn't do without them. Go check them out. Awesome belts. Hole 10, we are uphill the entire way, subtly, though, as it winds around to the right. It's probably more of a right hand. I don't know. I suppose that's right, that graphic there. I'm just thinking about the hole out loud. You're trying to get something to go right for sure, but a straight shot will do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty tricky like that. It makes you think you want it to go farther right than it needs to. Hailey was trying to get that Onyx sidearm around the corner and pulls it a little bit too tight. She's going to find that left side. But yeah, if you just land dead straight off the tee about 250 feet up, you're looking at the prime position where you want to be.
Yeah, not an overly long hole, just one of those wooded holes here at Hornets Nest that until you play them, until you're out here, these trees and these gaps, they might look big on TV. They probably look small, but they're smaller here.
Yeah.
Especially in person. You're going fierce for that reason, huh?
Yeah, my fierce is just the disc that I feel best about hitting gaps with.
Yeah.
And
the gap hitter, as we call it.
The gap hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one just came out with a little too much of a hyzer release. I wanted to put it on a little bit of an anhyzer up that left side and didn't execute that. So I'm going to find a tree and be way into the rough on the left.
Okay. Probably the better side to miss on, though. You can find the fairway easier from over there while advancing. Hard to say exactly without knowing where you landed, but there are options on the left side.
And Sarah with a pretty good throw right in the center of the fairway.
What do you got?
Yeah, not
Dang,
much
you
there,
were way
honestly.
in there. Okay.
Yeah, I got a big kick in there. So
We could barely see you.
Trying to get out as much as possible.
Hailey going with a Raptor.
She was asking for that to get down. She knows it's hyzering towards the right side rough. And she's going to find herself right on the edge. Definitely in good position to par, but maybe out of reach for the birdie.
Looking to flip it flat, maybe a little bit, get some ride out of it.
Mm-hmm. And Catrina's M4 got a kick to the right, so she's actually in the previous hole's fairway.
No kidding.
Looking to get back onto our fairway.
Okay. You're still in the rough a bit.
Close to the edge, but definitely needing a little slow turning anhyzer sidearm. And I did not give that one enough air time, so it finds the ground pretty quick.
Stays in the middle, though. Should be able to work up and down from there. Sarah, is she going inside gap? No, okay. Outside gap, hyzer flip. That looks pretty good. Circle's edge, maybe.
Yep.
Hard to tell if she'll be impaired on that stance.
So I'm about 250 feet away, I would say. Relatively wide open. There's one tree to miss. And that's the one I'm going to hit.
That one there.
Yep, that's the one. And just disappointment there. Just knowing there's literally one tree to miss. Catrina gets herself into position after being off the fairway.
There you go, minimize damage. You've basically, you've put yourself up against the wall here. And there's two ways you can go at this point.
Yeah, on the bright side, I am seeing Catrina Allen and Sarah Hokom both 3 and 4 under over par respectively. So I know even though I'm going to be tapping in a double bogey, I'll still not fall to last place on my card.
Yeah.
And I'm telling myself, if I beat 2 out of these 4 ladies, I think that I can get into the finals.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing to be thinking, especially with the caliber of ladies you're with. Just lots of factors in play, The card that you don't know about ahead of you guys, playing pretty good at this point. Holly Finley, well known for her play in the woods, is playing good. Lisa, who played good yesterday, is playing good. It's just...
Yeah, and Holly just won a tournament in A-tier at this course 2 weeks ago. The Carolina Clash was just here, and she had a battle against Kona Panis that came down to the last few holes. So she's got some tournament rounds recently on this track.
Yeah, you got to think that's helping her here. A little bit of recent experience. Got a par 4 here, hole 11, 504 feet. Some wooded holes and just a fantastic green. Any disc coming in fast to this green is going to slide or skip. It's just a slippery, hard-packed green. But fantastic, beautiful, huge trees all around it. I think this is iconic Charlotte golf right here.
Absolutely. This is what I think of when I think of disc golf. And watching Hailey King throw through these woods has been just such a beautiful sight today. That stalker came out a little bit early, though. Didn't quite fully commit to that hard release, so she's going to find herself on the left side of the fairway, and Catrina's looking to throw this X3 a little bit harder.
Oh, yeah, getting the flip out of it and the ride. Perfect shot. Finishing flat, just not letting the disc skip either way. Hard to do.
A really well executed tee shot there.
Highly technical.
And Sarah starting it off on the right side of the fairway, getting that late flip, using every inch of the fairway, and also well executed.
Yeah, beautifully done from her. So you've just seen a couple of good shots right in front of you.
Yeah, and I clubbed down this year on this one. I was throwing a full-speed driver last year, trying to get the eagle. I told myself just throw your straight fairway and try to hit the gap. But this one comes out a little bit right, but somehow still sneaks through, and I will happily take a little bit of luck here.
Yeah, everybody's getting it. It gets passed around. It's never even. You don't know when you're going to get it, but great result from you. You should be able to have access to that birdie.
Hailey forced to throw a pitch out with her stalker, trying to get in a good position to get up and down to save par.
Wow, Hokom matching the disc angle to the ground, just finishing flat, sliding it up.
Beautiful shot.
What can you say? She slays the woods like nobody else with a forehand. It's unique and it's super technical.
And this is just such a good shot on the slow hyzer. Yeah. Not really throwing it to land left, but just on that hyzer angle to go forward.
I love that you just stand still these. No need to run it up, bring any footwork into it. You just confidently put it under the basket.
Yeah, if I'm like 200 or in, I prefer the standstill, as does Catrina. I think, like you said, it just takes a little bit of the timing out, less moving parts.
Yep.
I did skid about 20 feet deep, though.
Nice hit.
Had a little tester to get that birdie, but happy to start moving back towards par.
Yep.
No more overstrokes is what I'm thinking at this point. Mm-hmm. Only pars and birdies from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much room for error with these ladies out here today playing super hot.
Yeah, 3 birdies out of 4. Hailey able to pitch back out and then convert on her par. You guys played that hole well. That's a tough hole.
Now we're into one of the more open holes on the course, hole 12. It's 819 feet. It's a par 5. This first shot is just wide open. You just want to rip it as far as you can. The farther you up, the farther our the farther up you are, close to these yellow stakes, the better your angle to this green is, and it is actually eagleable if you get up by those yellow stakes. So after that, it kind of breaks over to the right and into this gap on an elevated basket. This is very picturesque hole.
Fantastic hole. Yeah, you were saying eagleable. It is for sure. That second shot does play downhill, and you're forced to throw an anhyzer, which allows the disc to get a little extra distance, I think.
Yeah. Catrina trying to get some distance off this with her D2, but throws it almost purely hyzer. She didn't get that turn, but that's kind of the risk that you bring if you try to get that full flex shot. You're liable to go to the right, and you don't have an angle at all from over there.
Fully pinched off over there. Wow, Sarah using up all of that left side again, not touching anything. Perfect shot from her. She'll be placed probably pretty close to Cat. This is a Zeus from you. You looking to bomb one?
Yeah, this is my more overstable Zeus, so I'm really trusting it. I'm trying to rip it on a hyzer angle so that there's no chance it's going to flip, but that I still get that pop-up to flat, hopefully. And, yeah, I'm just trying to get as far down there as possible. I know, like I said, I'm looking at scores, so I know that I need to get about back to par. And if I can do, card 2 of those understrokes on one hole, I'm in good position.
So you're thinking eagle.
Definitely. Trying to at least get myself in position to attempt it.
Yep.
Hailey pulls hers a little bit too far to the right, but she does get a little cut roll back left, so she opens up her angle a tiny bit where she'll throw this Crystal Raptor just to get into birdie position.
Okay. And those trees, the small ones you see there, do come into play with that approach to the green if you're over there by them. I was kind of thinking she'd go high and maybe try to access the mouth, but she leaves herself wide. We'll see what she has. Sarah doing more what I talked about, pushing the opening a little bit, but possibly pinching herself off a bit short. Looked like she caught some tree. Is this Cat's M4?
Yes, it is. And she's been throwing this since 2013 when Prodigy first started. She's got this disc dialed, and it's just fading right into the gap.
Goodness.
Little bit more air time, and she's inside the circle, but either way, just such a beautiful shot.
Okay.
And this is my soul looking for that late flip.
Oh.
And I kicked the last tree. I thought it was perfect, but just an inch farther, and it would have been great.
But you're staring straight down the gap. That's a great place to be after 2.
Hailey, again, what you were saying on the last shot, she went a little bit lower than you were thinking. Same thing here. I thought she would give that one a little bit more height and use the glide to get into that gap.
The line was right.
So she's going to leave herself about a 45-footer. Okay. Hokom just inside the circle.
Oh, yeah. And you are dialed with these upshots today. So much to be said for not having to work. If you start the day with, say, 100% stress level or whatever, and each time you have to hit a 30-footer that gets bumped down, it's so nice to have those tap-ins.
Yeah, it really is.
You can't say enough about it. It doesn't wear you down.
Yeah, walking up to a stress-free tap-in is, especially on a weekend like this with the stakes being so high.
You just want to save all of that mental fortitude, all of that emotion. You just want to have all of that.
Yep. So Sarah can't convert from just outside the circle or just inside the circle. Another elevated basket.
Tap in bird for you, and you are headed the right direction. Back-to-back holes now. You've gotten the birdie on. What are you feeling now?
Yeah, now I am again looking at scores, and we'll get a leaderboard check-in so we can see at this moment Hailey King still leading at 2 under. And then we got Holly and Lisa both at even, and I see myself tied with Catrina at 1 over, with Missy and Sarah right behind, and Jessica. So it's anyone's game still. And so I know that with these 6 holes left, every shot is so important.
Yeah, we're 13 holes in, and anything could happen. This is perfect drama. This is what we ask for at the Tour Championship. $20,000 on the line. Doesn't get any better. ESPN tomorrow. Pretty fun.
Yeah, this 360-footer is definitely one we want to get a birdie look on. It's downhill, and it slightly veers to the left, so we're just looking for a slower speed disc that's going to lose speed and just glide down that hill. Or for Sarah, I know that she's going to go sidearm here, and so the sidearm does set up pretty well. I know a lot of the guys throw the sidearm as well just because how it shapes.
Yeah. Matches the slope of the green nicely.
Catrina with that mid-range, though, gets that soft fade, and she is in the bullseye.
Fantastic shot from her. She may have been, we don't know, but looking at the scores as well, possibly feeling that same fire that you were feeling,
She actually was not looking at the scores.
Really?
I overheard her and Sarah chatting about the scores and that they didn't know what the scores were and that neither of them were going to look.
It's an interesting way of going about things. I mean, something to be said for it as well. You just play your game. You don't worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I mean, if you're going to throw shots like that, you don't need to know what the score is.
It's true, right? Just keep doing that. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, Hailey and I both heard them say that, and we just kind of like shrugged our shoulders at each other like, I definitely want to know what the scores are,
Yeah, there's certain scenarios that it would definitely benefit you to knowing the scores. I mean, there's times when, without a doubt, if you knew that all you had to do was lay up or had to make a 40-footer, that, some extra fire might be what is needed. You're up there just making another easy 3.
Yeah, all my competitors on this card are inside the circle for their 2s. But there wasn't much I could do from back there at about 70 feet. And
no, not with the sloping green. That's smart. That's a champion's mindset to just lay that one up, pick your battle well. Sarah able to convert on her nice turnover forehand.
Yeah, and we see Hailey miss another one inside 25. So that's 2 this round. And like I said, we don't see this very often at all. So you gotta know that this is huge.
Yep.
The pressure and the tension is at an all-time high right now.
Yep. It's palpable. It's real. Everyone on the course is feeling it.
At Dynamic Discs, we offer affordable custom stamping to help your company, club, event, or tour stand out from the rest. We can use your own design, or we'll work with you to design a stamp that captures the tone of your event. We'll get your discs stamped quickly and on their way within 3 weeks. If you're ordering for an event, you may qualify for one of our sponsorship tiers as well. Discs are listed at our best pricing with a minimum 50-disc order with a 10-disc minimum per mold. We have junior and mini discs available as well. For all the information you need, head over to dynamicdiscs.com or email custom@dynamicdiscs.com.
All right, and here we are, hole 14. Coming into the crunch time, this is probably the easiest hole that they're going to face coming down the stretch. So one that you guys are trying to get for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only 325 feet. And for 305 of the feet, it's dead straight. You do want that late flip, but if you throw it straight, you're still pretty good. So this is definitely one we want to get, especially considering how tight the scores are.
Yeah, and gauntlet on the next one. 6 6-foot wide gap on the next one, 10-foot wide gap on the next one. You just, this is your best chance right here. And Cat throwing that M4 again. Now, this is like back-to-back-to-back shots. She's thrown that.
Starts that one out a little too much Anheuser, and she's going to find the early trees on the right side.
Yeah.
That is out of birdie position, but she should be able to save par from there.
Yeah, that was the right disc, I think. But like you said earlier, it's the late flip that you need. You're trying to straighten it for the majority of the flight. This looks good, though.
Beautifully thrown.
Oh,
Almost
yeah.
in the bullseye.
Great shot from Sarah. This one does fit her well. And you've got the Soul?
Yep, this is my Soul. Great for that late flip. I'm putting it on a hyzer.
Oh, yeah.
And it just starts drifting just inside the circle.
I was actually watching this one on the Disc Golf Network with Kevin Jones, and we got so hyped when we saw you do that. Just sick shot. Great timing to pull that out.
Hailey going wide with that Onyx. She's throwing it good today, but coming down the wire, needed that one a little bit more inside.
Cat, now this is tricky.
She's in a bush that's taller than she is.
Oh, goodness, so many trees right there in the way.
She kind of had to throw it up by her shoulder.
Wow, something really stable too, you know. She chopped at it on an Anheuser and it finished on a severe hyzer.
Hailey hits that last little tree before the basket, but she's at about 20 feet from there. So this is a big putt for me.
Yes, great look for birdie, and you convert. Got the slow-mo from GK.
Almost too high, but so happy to see that one fade in there.
Yeah, giving the basket a little thank you for being just the right height.
It's good timing to cart a birdie.
Yes.
Move to even par.
Get yourself back to even. That's huge. I mean, 3 holes ago, you were 3 big. You were just taking a double. You know, fast forward, even par 3 straight, confidence back. Got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. But I know, like you said, we got a few tiny gaps coming up. And Hailey missing another one low. She's just feeling some pressure today.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, she started off hot and has some strokes to play with. That one won't hurt her too much, but she needs to get it together coming into the last few holes.
Yeah, she'll drop one back, but continue to be really the only player under par for the majority of the day. Little emotion on that one. And here is that gap. Mando right, meaning you got to take it straight up this tunnel. I mean, about as wide as you hold your hands out as you walk down it.
Yeah, it's really intimidating standing on this tee pad. You know it's only 269 feet away. It's right there in front of you. Like we're talking about, I mean, typically I would just throw a standstill putter, but when you have this tiny gap right in front of you and you know how much is on the line, it's really hard to hit.
It's compelling golf for sure, and if you are going to hit a tree, hopefully you kick left. That is, if you've passed the Mando. Right rough is tricky. The ceilings are low as you play to this uphill basket. I just think left is better. And I do like a forehand. The trees are staggered just right that a forehand kind of plays better in my mind. But I think we're going to see some backhands out of you ladies, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah clips that one a little bit late on the left side.
You're going with that gap hitter.
I'm going with the fierce gap hitter. And this is a huge moment. I cannot miss left of that Mando. And I find myself on the putting green.
Great shot.
I am so happy at this moment.
Yeah, given the scenario and everything taking place, that was a fantastic shot from you, Paige.
Catrina now with a huge shot. And her M4 just a little bit early out of her hand. She's going to clip right. and have some work to do. And this is actually the moment where I heard them talking about not knowing the scores.
Okay. So
and I'm thinking, you know, if I was caddying for either of them, I would absolutely try to talk them out of that because you have 4 holes left. You don't want to check scores on 18
no.
when you only have 1 hole to make something happen.
Agreed.
So Kat is way back and still in the rough.
Oh, kicked back into it as well.
So she's looking like a bogey at best here. She's got to get up and down from this spot at a full straddle.
That was fully stretched out and great shot from her to end up 24 feet maybe. Looked like there was a wall of trees she was throwing through. Sarah Hokom with a backhand. Should be noted.
So she could pick up a stroke on Catrina here and tie it up if Catrina misses and she makes that. And Hailey, this is...
She's just hitting every part of the basket without them staying.
So I know if I make this one, I can pretty much walk down the last 3 holes with no pressure. But it's just a little bit left there. And so I am going to still have to execute this next hole.
Kat grabbing that bogey, which was the best she could have done after her second shot. Good to get that up and down. Sarah tapping in for her par, picking one up on Kat, like you said.
And that par will keep me at even. 1 stroke behind Hailey, who I know is the leader at this moment.
Quick check-in. Thank you, GK, for throwing this up. UDisc leaderboard. There it is right there. The 4 ladies getting in. And Lisa tied with Catrina right now. So just being beat by the tiebreaker points. And Holly only 1 back of them. I mean, 6 women's race. And who knows with these 3. Could be 8 women's race. This one right here, somebody called the hardest hole in Charlotte the other day. Would you agree?
To birdie? Absolutely. I don't even think about a birdie on this hole. This gap we're coming up right now, my only intention is hit that gap with my gap hitter and get a slow finish down because that OB you see straight ahead does come into play if you're throwing something too fast. So
Yep.
I'm not trying to hyzer it towards the basket. I'm just trying to get it dead straight, but that does, take the birdie out of play. So I would say it's definitely in contention, at least, for the hardest hole in Charlotte.
I mean, you guys are playing the same tee box as the men, and it's still one of their hardest holes. So cool to see you guys back there, though, for me. And I love your play, just deciding par is a good score, because it is. I mean, yesterday we saw Kona Panis go for the green and go out of bounds. You were actually caddying for.
Yeah.
So there's, even if you get yourself down there, there's danger to be had. Looked like yours was just about right.
Yeah, just kicked a late tree and kicked into the woods on the right side. Hailey gets the kick to the left side. And if you couldn't tell where Holcomb's went, it actually kicked left of that initial gap. So she's going to be going down the left side. Katrina does not like that one at all.
Oh, she's still out there.
She actually joked about it like, oh, yeah, I just was laying up. But she's got a lot of work to do from here. She's going Anheuser sidearm.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
gets onto the green. This is such a good shot and one that she's going to look back on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, considering the stakes at play to pull that off right now.
Sarah getting most of the way down there, but hitting a late tree. She's going to have about a 50-foot look downhill, and she needs to hit this one.
You're going to the forehand. Okay.
Yeah, and I told myself just keep it low so that it doesn't hyzer towards that OB.
Yep.
But a little bit too low. I'm going to be just outside the circle.
Okay. Everybody kind of left with some putts. Katrina the closest after being out of the opening.
Sarah can't quite get enough on that one. She will have to settle for a bogey. And now I have a putt as the wind's picking up, making the leaves rain. And again, just a little bit too left.
Yeah, that chalk on your hands.
Yeah, that looked cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the putt looked great most of the way.
Hailey with a big par putt.
Wow.
She's going to stay our leader at the moment.
Feels like we've just watched her miss putts for, like 9 holes or something. And for
her to still be leading.
Yeah.
She's throwing really well today.
Yeah.
And if we were seeing the Hailey King that we normally see on the putting green, she might be leading by about 6 or 7 strokes at this moment.
Yeah, she could be 5-6 under par. Yeah. But she's in a position good enough to give her a chance at tomorrow. That's all this format asks. 2 more holes to hold on for the chance to play for $20,000 tomorrow. A disc golfer's dream. Really incredible. Hole 17. What do you got?
This one is very demanding. Any errant tee shot, you're looking at an instant bogey. So you want to throw it straight about 350 feet, give or take, and then it doglegs to the left and up this hill onto a rocky elevated green. So main objective, hit the gap, do not kick a tree and go left because you will be out of position, and it sometimes forces people to try to get a little sneaky through a gap that plays over 18's tee pad.
Yeah, the shortcut. It's not where you want to be.
Yeah, I've seen it bite people. I've also seen it pay off, but, you don't want to have to make that decision, especially with the odds of making it into this final.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just trying to hit a landing zone here, give themselves that 250-foot upshot, and this looks good, even better with that little kiss.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, and that's prime.
Love that little kiss. She said that she was even with hole 2 after that. So that H3 is going to find herself in really good position down there, looking right at the gap. Sarah trying to flex this sidearm, but clips a late tree. She's going to fall a little bit short on the left side.
Is this a buzz out of you?
Yeah, this is a buzz. I'm going with a medium stability buzz here on a hyzer. Just trying to punch it at that gap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It stays a little too straight, but I find a little gap there. I'm going to be pretty close to where Catrina is.
And that's like the 5th or 6th time I've watched your disc continue to spin where it sits. You're putting so many revolutions on the disc. It's amazing to watch, and your disc isn't done spinning when it lands. It's fun. That's just a fun fact for everybody right there.
Thanks, Luke.
That was the shortcut route that Hailey was looking for.
Yeah, Hailey and Sarah both went for it. Hailey had a more open look, but pulled it a little bit right, and she's going to kick herself left and still have a lot of work to do from there.
Great shot from you. You'll be in the circle.
Yeah, that was from about 260. Catrina from about 250. Both throwing putters into the green.
And she left hers about 50 short, it looked like. This is a tricky route here. Did she just fillet it?
She leaves it a little bit short, and like I said, she doesn't know the scores at this moment, and she's probably going to consider running this one just because she knows how many throws she's already made, and she has to know that Hailey's beating her, as Hailey's had the box most of this round.
Yeah. You'd think she knows that, with your 3 birdies back to back to back on 13, 14, 15 11, 12, 13, that you'd be sitting nice as well. Hard to tell where that ended up. Is Bob still following that? No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did roll. She laid it up towards the left side, but it kind of rolled to about circle's edge on the back.
Huge bogey putt from Hailey. Watch this one in slow-mo.
And this is a huge putt. I know that we see Hailey King in the lead right now, but she is in the 4th position. So any ties go to the player that is seeded highest. Yeah. So if she would have carded a double bogey here, she would have fell back to 2 over, and she would have been in a bad position with that tiebreaker rule.
Crazy rule coming into effect. Here's Sarah Hokom's comebacker now. Drains it.
This is a huge putt.
Elevated basket. Oh, my goodness.
She gives herself the chance to get into this final still.
Yeah, and if she hadn't looked, then she basically told herself she had to make it. There was no other option, I'm guessing. And
yeah.
pulls it off.
With 1 hole to play, 1 hole and 1 putt left, you need every stroke you can get.
Yep.
And at this moment, Lisa is tapped out, and she is at 3 over par as well. So Sarah needs to birdie this next hole.
Okay, so Hailey King, Catrina Allen, Paige Pierce, and Sarah Hokom all in at this point with the 18th to play. The gap off the tee, out into the opening. I think once you get out in the opening, you can kind of breathe a sigh of relief, but until you're there, the hole's not done, and neither is this championship, and neither is your spot secured in the next day's contest. It all comes down to 18. This is beautiful. This is why we commentate.
Yeah, this is really good golf that we're playing right now, and, like you said, all 8 players were in it up until this point. Now it's kind of like a 5-person race, but still so exciting right now. And Catrina does need to hit this gap. She's going with her M4 here. Little bit late out, but she gets most of the way out of the gap. She should have an easy out into the opening, and she has the distance to get up and down from there.
Just a little bit left with that one today a couple times.
Yep, that's kind of why I'm shaking my head right there. Just not giving it enough Anheuser.
This looks
Hailey
great.
puts a great Anheuser on this Luna. And she actually could get up and down for the birdie from here. She's only about 350 away from there.
A little bit downhill. And Sarah, wow. Great shot from her.
So she needs to get up and down to make it into this final unknowingly.
Yeah, because I think we said that Lisa was at 3 earlier. I think she's at 2.
She is at 2.
Correct.
I was incorrect. Yeah, she
so
was
when
at 2
Sarah,
under.
If
2 over.
Sarah can birdie, she would then jump into that position and kick Lisa out by way of this tiebreaker.
Yes.
A year-long accrued points tiebreaker, basically. That's the points you fought for all year.
Catrina.
A little low out of Cat.
Yeah.
I wonder, if she's not checked yet, then she's pressing as well, but she is okay just getting up and down from there.
This is my big Z Fierce.
How aggressive are you trying to get this?
It's over 300 feet, and I'm just trying to rip it. I know my putter's not going to go past the basket, so just trying to rip it, and I find myself inside the circle.
Here it is. Sarah Hokom. Great move on the disc. This looks fantastic.
And she is inside the circle.
Call it 26 feet.
It is a tester, and it's an elevated basket. We've seen her miss a couple of those today, but she is in this position for a reason. She is one of the top 4 players in the world. And when the pressure's on, she's been in that situation so many times.
Well executed from Kat. That'll do it. She'll secure her spot into tomorrow's contest.
And Hailey really does not need to run this at all.
Stop.
She is in the lead.
Oh, my gosh.
But, glad to see that nothing crazy happened there.
Smart from you. And here it is. Sarah Hokom needs it to advance.
And just not quite high enough. And I feel like she still doesn't know. I really do. The way she's smiling there and just kind of nonchalantly shaking her head. I really think that she's going to regret not knowing the scores and taking a little bit more time on that. Should be routine putt. So Lisa Ficus will move on.
And she'll play with you, Catrina, and Hailey tomorrow, with the winner taking home 20 racks. Talking about cheddar.
That is a lot of money, and almost even more importantly, I would say an opportunity to showcase the sport of disc golf on ESPN2.
Yep.
What a privilege. Thank
Yep.
you to the Disc Golf Pro Tour for the opportunity.
Yeah, huge thanks to Jeff Spring for what he's doing. I feel like he's leading our sport in a great direction. We're in good hands with him and his team. Last look at the card. Sarah Hokom just missing it by 1. Well, anyways, thank you guys for joining us. This has been GK's coverage of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Tour Championship here from Charlotte, North Carolina. For Paige Pierce, I'm Luke Humphries. We'll see you next time.